guys hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. That was wild. I was like, oh no, you probably can't hear me. That's, yeah, let's get it out. Oh, come on, don't fall. Of course. Of course, as I go live, my mic stand wants to fall. Sorry, guys. This is crazy. Come on. Okay, is that good? You guys can hear me? We're good? Oh my goodness. You can't even imagine how scary that was. We're okay though. All right. You guys can hear me fine, yeah? Or are the levels a little too low? Okay, sweet. Awesome. Sweet. Well, all right. Welcome to the Rendered Image show. Sorry for the crazy beginning. I don't know if you could hear the bumper at all. I probably didn't put that to output, but it's all good. Hi, I'm your host, Tyler Babb, and today we will be talking about some interesting movie news. Welcome to the show. This is where we talk about movies, movie news, all things movies live on this show right here. So I am a filmmaker. I do mainly post-production, for those of you who don't know. So I have a background in post-production and also production work as well. So, but yeah, we got some interesting stories. It's going to be kind of a shorter show today just because I have other things I need to do. I got some meetings. I got some script writing I got to do. So there's a lot of other things on the table for today. But I wanted to talk about a few things. One of them being the Mortal Kombat movie was released overseas last week. So we have some reviews coming in from that. It comes out on the 23rd in the United States, but it was released overseas. So again, avoid spoilers again, we're not going to be talking about spoilers here. I haven't looked at any spoilers because I don't want to be spoiled. But we'll be looking at Rotten Tomatoes, and we have some reviews that have come in. We got 4 of them, so only 4 critics have reviewed this so far. It doesn't have a score yet on Rotten Tomatoes, but we'll take a look at these 4 reviews, and I'll tell you what I feel is going to happen with the movie and how it's going to perform and what that means for HBO Max and whatever, so on and so forth. And then obviously the thumbnail of the video, I just kind of wanted to do like a fun topic, so I want to take... we're a big Batman fan here at the channel, and I want to kind of speculate what I'm looking forward to most about the Batman, how I feel about the movie, and what I want to see out of the movie, and hopefully what it delivers, and just kind of give you guys my thoughts. And then the Fast 9 trailer dropped yesterday, yesterday, and I have some thoughts on that. We won't be watching it just because. Studios like to demonetize videos or basically take the ad revenue if you show trailers and stuff like that. So we won't be watching it, but you guys can go check it out, and then you can come back and hear my thoughts or whatever. I'll talk about it. Yeah, because it was a very interesting trailer. Maybe not in a good way either. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see what you guys think about the Fast and the Furious franchise. But anyways, so that's what's on the table for today. Let's waste no time. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Tyson in the chat. We're all good. I'm muted. Oh my goodness. How am I muted? Monitor and output. We're good now, yeah? Just want to make sure we're good. Oh, all right. Sorry. Okay. So without further ado, holy cow. It's been crazy, man. The last few weeks and months have been nuts. Here at the channel specifically. We're not sponsored by... Oh, look, it takes out the green in my can. That's insane. Yeah, we both got the it's crazy. So we're back though. We're getting into the swing of things. And but yeah, let's waste no time, as I've wasted time. All right, the first topic: Mortal Kombat. Sorry if that was too loud, but That's kind of how I feel. So I don't know about you guys. So I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat fan to begin with. Um, but I did play the game as a kid, obviously. The first, like the first generation of games or whatever, like the first trilogy, I remember those as a kid. So, but the other, like the newer games, like I don't really play those. So all the new, like I know things have been rebooted and things have been redone. I don't really know that much about them, but I know like the main cast of characters that this film is basically using. Um, and I've spent the last week or so kind of getting familiar with the new lore just so I know what I'm watching when I watch it. Because the worst thing that I can think of is that if I review this movie, which we will on the channel, we'll talk about it, we'll see it. I don't want to go in not knowing about the property, you know. So I've been kind of doing my research and trying to get up and up to speed on what's going down and what's going to be in the movie. So yeah, so they released and we got some reviews here. Pablo, I'm just gonna say their first names because I'm gonna screw these. Most of this is all foreign, but Pablo says Mortal Kombat is a display of powerful images with ... almost 2 hours of action. Now, he's got the full review. I'm not going to read the full review. I'm just going to quickly skim through these, and then I'll give you my thoughts. And then we have Santiago says, this new film adaptation is direct in its intentions, aware of its limitations, and pays tribute to both sides of the saga. So that's good. That's an overall good. Those two are both fresh, by the way. And then we have another one that's fresh. It says, fans of the long-running this is James. Fans of the long-running Mortal Kombat video game franchise finally have cause for celebration. That's another positive. And then we have one rotten from Casey who says, whereas the action is both gory and violent as it should be, director Simon McQuaid got so carried away with his insistence of taking a grounded approach in his movie. See, so that's a rotten, and that's so interesting. I have so many thoughts on this movie, right? It's almost like an anomaly. I almost have no idea what's gonna, like, is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be terrible? And like, sorry. You have to kind of manage your expectations with this, I think, where, yeah, it's a video game movie, and I think everyone wants that kind of the stigma to be broken, right? Where you're like, man, I just want I want a good stretch and a good string of really great, like, video game movies. Like, let's really crack it and figure out how to make really good video game movies. Now, I may be, and I didn't see Sonic. I need to see Sonic. I heard Sonic was pretty good. And I might be in the minority on this, but what if I'm not going to say that I don't think it's impossible to do anything. I think it's possible to do anything. But I think there's just a completely different experience with video games, right? Like, you as the player, you are actively participating in the game. Whereas a movie, you don't do that. You just watch it. So, and maybe there's a way to crack it, but it's definitely hard to do. Now, Mortal Kombat itself, story-wise, I mean, there's a ton of lore, right? And there's a ton of like fan servicey, probably a lot of fan servicey moments in the movie, right? Where you're like, oh, that's from that game, and that line is from that game. And I know they're probably gonna have like a bunch of the signature fatalities and all sorts of stuff. Now, what's really kind of in the back of my mind is I could judge it as a filmmaker, right? Like, I could go in as a storyteller and as a filmmaker and judge it for what it is as a film, which I will definitely do. And I have low expectations for that. But there's also that other side. It's like two sides of the coin where it's like, oh, but as like a Mortal Kombat, like, how many boxes does it check as a Mortal Kombat fan, and how many boxes does it check as a filmmaker? And I think those are going to be vastly different. So And I think you are. It's gonna be a split. You're gonna have critics that are gonna not like this movie, and you're gonna have Mortal Kombat fans who love this movie. Now, I think movies are good. I think taking well-known IPs and making films out of them is a great thing that studios should be doing. So I'm in full support of this. I will probably go to the theater to see this. That's my plan. So yeah, that I want to see this on the big screen. Saw Godzilla versus Kong not on the big screen, and I think that affected my viewing. I don't think it wasn't as epic. Like I was not as engrossed in that movie, and I don't want to make that mistake again with this movie. So I'm probably going to go to the theater to see this, unless something drastically different happens in my life where I don't. I probably will. So other than that, the other side note is this was written by not a first-time writer, but he's pretty new to the scene, and so he's not as experienced. And then also the director of this film, Simon McQuaid, is also a first-time director, which is crazy to me. Like, this is his first feature. And I can only imagine what kind of pressure he must have been under making this film. You know, like it's such a strange thing to me when people like, specifically in this situation where he's like, oh yeah, this is my first feature film, I'm gonna go make Mortal Kombat. I'm like, is that really the greatest decision? Like, career move wise, was that the best career move you could have made? Like, it looks cool, and if you have people, like, who knows? I'm sure it'll be a great time. But just kind of my thoughts. You know, I'm excited. I'm rooting for the movie. I hope that we get sequels because, like I said, I mean, I want a franchise, and also too, like, so this is Warner Brothers, right? And Warner Brothers is known for like DC and their DC films. I think it would benefit Warner Brothers both financially, but then also just to give them something else to do, to have a separate franchise that's not DC Comics. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need a different franchise that they can also have. You know how like Disney has Star Wars and Marvel? It's like Warner Brothers needs another franchise that they can entertain us with, and so they don't get bogged down. Like, I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. Tyson says he has not seen any of the Batman movies, but he really wants to, though. Yeah, man, when we talk about Batman, I won't spoil. It's good to know that. I'm not going to spoil anything then when we talk about Batman. I will strictly keep it just to the new Batman that's coming out and speculate about that. I won't even spoil the other Batman movies for you. So good to know. I'm glad I know that. Alicia says, I don't know much about Mortal Kombat, but I'm interested in seeing it. Yeah, I think that's how it kind of is. Well, also too, like the reach of this, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many people are actually interested in seeing this besides video game fans, you know? And how much, like, pop culture wise, how much of an impact is it making to, like, with the general public? You know what I'm so curious. So curious to see how it does. Yeah, Alicia agrees with me that another big franchise would help. It definitely would, because I think it would alleviate pressure, right? Because think about it, if you're an executive producer and you're trying to, like, basically, like, this is the lifeblood of your studio. It's like, all right, we got DC. Like, Harry Potter, like, we don't have Harry Potter anymore. That was bringing in a ton of money. We don't have that anymore. So we got DC, and that's kind of where all of our eggs are in the DC basket. And there's just so much pressure. But if this can be, like, mildly, and I'm not going to say that, I don't think this is going to be a huge hit, but if this could mildly be successful and just be like, oh, like, this was a good first installment, and then it's enough to make a sequel where then we can kind of open up the doors, then we can maybe get a bigger budget, and then, you know, the sequel, I think that's going to be one of the, hopefully, I really, really hope that this is going to be a franchise that grows over time and gets better with time. So that's my hope. Well, more Harry Potter would definitely help, which they are talking about doing a Harry Potter franchise on HBO Max, or a series. I don't know if it's like if it's a reboot of Harry Potter, or if it's like just a different story in the Harry Potter universe on HBO Max. I don't know. I've always, always, always wanted them to make a television series out of those books. I think it'd be incredible. Um, we're about we're about a decade removed from when the Harry Potter movies ended, and we're about 20 years removed from when the first movie came out. Makes me feel old, but it is what it is. And so I think personally, as a massive Harry Potter fan, like I'm ready to see another interpretation. Like I've talked about interpretations on this channel before, but I love interpretations because it's just it's a different filmmaker's vision. It's a different viewpoint on the same material, and I think that's always good. It's always good to look at different interpretations of things. Same thing with games. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd want reboots of games and different studios to take different look at what Insomniac did with Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to talk about games, they took the Spider-Man property and they had their own spin on it. So I think it's always great for studios to reboot. Remakes are different because if you're remaking things, the difference between a reboot and a remake is literally you're just making the same movie, right? Like same characters, same story. That's a remake. Whereas like a reboot switches it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Switches it a tiny bit. So the new Ghostbusters isn't a remake, it's a reboot because they're all new characters and everything like that. So I'm a fan of reboots, not so much a fan of remakes. It's just like, yeah, never ever ever reboot, or I'm sorry, never remake Back to the Future, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. Alicia says, but Harry Potter is a different audience than DC and Mortal Kombat. So the more diverse and successful franchise you can make, it's always good. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so I'm excited for this, and we can move on to the next topic. Oh, Batman. Robert Pattinson's Batman. Here we go. All right. The main topic of today would be what we're expecting from Matt Reeves' Batman. Now, I will be honest with you. On this channel, we have gone, our hype levels and our expectations for this movie on this channel have gone up and down. I've been super excited, and then I've been not excited. And then the trailer came out, and I got stupid excited, and now I'm like, I don't know if I'm excited. So it's been an emotional roller coaster with this movie for me personally. And I know I'm not going to speak for Zach, but I know that Zach, we might talk about it on a Pop Culture Cave podcast. But yeah, he's got his own feelings about it. And I want the movie to give us my biggest thing. If I had to what's the biggest thing that you want out of this movie? I want to see Batman being a detective. You need to give us a Batman. If Robert Pattinson wants to stand out in the line of great Batman that we've had, he needs to bring something. Him and Matt Reeves, the director, need to bring something fresh and new to the table. And I think what that is, and what kind of has been missing in the past, is a really smart Batman, like a really smart Bruce Wayne. When he's like in the comics, and like they kind of hinted at this in other Batman movies, sort of, but I mean they make him like this, but I really want to see it happen. Like when he steps in the room, he's supposed to be the smartest man in the room, bar none. And if you've seen the trailer, he's coming in. Jim Gordon is asking him to basically look at something, and it seems like they're working together to do some actual detective work. So that's cool. I'm getting emails left and right. Okay, so obviously you look at him and you're like, okay, and just purely the look of him as Batman, I don't hate it. Now here's the thing though, and this is something that Sam Raimi said. We know we love Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi said that you have to work to earn the mantle of the hero. And what he mean, I'm paraphrasing that quote, but what he means is when somebody dresses up in a costume like this, they're automatically the character. Mean in the sense of the word, right? You're like, that's Batman. You're like, okay, cool. Robert Pattinson is Batman. So he was referencing Spider-Man when he talked about this, but it goes for anyone. It's just like, if you put on the Spider-Man suit, kids specifically will look at you and go, oh, you're like, that's Spider-Man. And you just get that, but it's unearned. And that happens with these type of big franchise movies, right? You put somebody in a costume, you take some cool photos of them, you light them a certain way, and like they can look cool. A lot of it depends on lighting. That's why I don't like to judge costumes necessarily based on behind the scenes photos or like paparazzi photos, because again, it's all about the filmmaker, and it's all about the intention of the filmmaker and how they want their work to be presented to the public. And when you're seeing stuff that's behind the scenes, that's not necessarily how the costume is supposed to be seen. And we saw that with this. I mean, we saw some behind the scenes photos where like this costume looked like trash and it looked garbage. And I was like, I was not happy. But at the same time, I'm open to interpretation. So I'm like, whatever. And I know in the back of my mind that, well, this isn't how Matt Reeves wanted to present the costume to us. So when we finally got this trailer, and this shot specifically is like the reveal of like, this is what Robert Pattinson looks like in the bathsuit. I was like, and the music helped too. I mean, come on, obviously they got Nirvana in the trailer, and like that was, I could go on and on for days. I watched that trailer probably like 15 times back to back. Like, didn't stop watching that. When that dropped, I was like, I was anticipating that drop. It dropped. I played it. It was insane. But putting Nirvana in the trailer also helps you figure out the tone, right? And I think, again, I'm not going to go into the history of Nirvana and who Nirvana is. Hopefully you guys know that. I might be dating myself a little bit, but it is what it is. But if you know Kurt Cobain and you know his music, I believe that that's put in there specifically because I think a lot of Kurt Cobain and a lot of kind of what he was going through is going to be translated into this Bruce Wayne and into this Batman. And now it's pure speculation. I'm just going based on the music choice that they put on the trailer. And I heard that Matt Reeves, usually this doesn't happen, but Matt Reeves had a lot to do with the construction of that trailer. And I think picked that song specifically. So I'm just inferring that, yeah, like Kurt Cobain and this Bruce Wayne are going to have a lot in common in terms of how they deal with things. I could see. So, you know what I'm saying? I guess he could be, take that for what it is. But I see similarities for sure. We'll go to the comments real quick, and then I'll continue my thoughts. Let's see. Tyson says, for me, it depends on the topic. I might like a remake for one thing, but dislike another. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends, right, on the property for sure. Alicia says, hashtag not my Batman. And then she says, I'm kidding, but I'm not super excited for this one. However, the kid playing the Riddler has piqued my interest. Now, it's funny that you call him a kid, because I'm just going to like, I'm going to pull him up real quick. Sorry, I'm going to have to do this. All right, so he's 36. He's 36 years old. So that's far from a kid. Just want to throw that out there. And you got to give, if you've never seen Paul Dano, like if you've never seen his work, like go see him. Go see his work. If you've never seen Prisoners, if you've never seen Good Country, or no, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. There Will Be Blood. If you've never seen There Will Be Blood, if you've never seen Prisoners, if you've never Swiss Army Man was a great movie. Go check his work out before you see Batman, because that's going to inform you with how good of a villain he's going to be. Now, these actors are great. I think Robert Pattinson is a great actor. Well, like a good actor. I don't know if he's hit greatness yet, but maybe this, if he can really tap into something really special with this role, maybe he can get there. But we'll have to see. Now, Paul Dano, I think, is a great actor. I think he's been there. He's been there for a long time. Or just go look up clips. Literally look up clips of Paul Dano and on YouTube and just watch his acting. You don't even have to watch all the movies. Just watch his acting, so you know exactly what type of Riddler we're going to get in terms of how much effort he puts into acting in his roles. It's incredible. So when they casted him, I was like, oh, like sign me up. And then you saw the trailer and the trailer, and he's narrating through the trailer. I was like, this is perfect. Like it looks pretty awesome. And I love the tone of the film. That looks, it looks gritty. It looks very real world, more real world than the Chris Nolan movies, I would even say. I think this is way more grounded. I could be wrong. See, this is the thing. It looks way more grounded than the Christopher Nolan movies, but I almost don't want that. I want there to be a mix, because, and that's what the Batman animated series from the 90s did so well. Probably the best version of Batman we've ever had is there was a gritty, real world like atmosphere, but there was also kind of the supernatural, and we could delve into more of the supernatural villains that Batman has, like Clayface and Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze and all that stuff. Like, I want to see that. Like, I miss that from my childhood. There's a nostalgia there, but I think every Batman fan wants to see the entire rogues gallery of Batman be represented in Batman movies. You know what I'm saying? In the whole Batman family, for sure. So yeah, we'll go back to the chat. I think Tyson said something. Oh yeah, Alicia said Paul Dano. She can never remember his name, but she loves him. She loves him. She loves him. That's strong words. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, dude. Look, just look up like clips of him acting. Look at his acting in Prisoners, and look at his acting in There Will Be Blood, and you know what I'm saying? You'll be good. This comes out in March of 2022, so it got pushed back. It was supposed to come out on my in like October, so when it's like around my birthday this year, and I was so excited, and then I got pushed. I was like, come on. And I don't even really think they needed to push it. That's what's a bummer, is I think things are starting to swing. Sorry. Things are starting to swing back. Things are kind of getting back to normal-ish. And I think by October, we would have totally been fine to go to the theater to see this. So I'm kind of bummed that it got pushed. Unless there's some major problems with the movie. That could be too. I don't know. And I will be honest with you, Matt Reeves, I'm not the biggest Matt Reeves fan. He directed the last two Planet of the Apes movies. He directed those. And I'm not a fan of those movies. The second one was okay. The second one was pretty good, but I liked the first Planet of the new trilogy. I liked the first one better. But that wasn't directed by Matt Reeves. He directed the last two. And I wasn't a fan. Especially the third one. That third one bored me. That bored me to death. I could not it was boring. And so I'm really hoping that with a property, and I've never been a huge Planet of the Apes fan either. So I'm hoping that with a property that I'm excited about, hopefully I won't get bored, and I won't not like it. But I'm very nervous because Matt Reeves is yet to really kind of blow me away, so we'll see. Tyson says, oh, sorry. Yeah, I was really looking forward to A Quiet Place Part 2, and it got pushed, so that stinks. Yeah, I mean, it's weird, right? Like, some movies got pushed, and then some movies didn't. You know, it's very, well, actually, all of them got pushed like a year. Like, all the Marvel stuff we're seeing now, this year, we would have gotten last year. So it's crazy how stuff got pushed, but hopefully things, start looking up and start getting back to normal. How long have we been going? We've been going for about 30 minutes. If you haven't, I haven't even said this, but normally we say this. If you haven't yet and you're around, please drop a like. Hit that like button. It really helps out the stream. It helps us. Come on. It helps us get out there to the YouTube community, shows people the show, and can get people interested in communicating and being here during the shows. This show takes place every Thursday at around 1:00 is when we'll do this show. So yeah. And we have other stuff on the channel. We got games. We got or we play Smash Bros. We do a Pop Culture Cave podcast every Friday, which is basically Zach and I and some other guests. We just talk about more pop culture news. And yeah, so, it's a fun time. Thank you so much. We're up to 8 likes. That's incredible. Thank you guys so much. Also, don't forget to join our Discord. Yeah. So Stream Elements in the chat has been spamming that. So you can go join our Discord. It's a great community. That's where you get all the notifications for when we post videos, when we hold tournaments, when we do all sorts of fun stuff. So it's going to be a good time. Almost to 10 likes. That's awesome. I know that we haven't really been incredibly consistent with this show, but we will start being more consistent. And I also have another series, I guess. It's called Making Filmmakers, and that is also on this channel. And that's where you get to learn filmmaking from me. So I basically sometimes it's like I'll pull up a video and like we'll watch it together and I'll react to it and give you my thoughts. But other times it'll be like filmmaking tutorials or how to, I got a couple other things in the works. But basically, yeah, you get to learn about filmmaking from me and from my experience. And then I'm also making a thesis film right now, which is pretty awesome. Where I've just been talking to makeup people. Right after this, I have a meeting with a VFX artist, and it's kind of like a CG. We got to make some CG models, so I'm talking to him, and we're going to be doing some alien makeup and all sorts of fun stuff. We're in the writing process now, and once it gets, we're close. We're super, super close. We're going to start production here very, very soon. We're probably going to shoot it at the end of June, I would say. So yeah, but you guys will definitely get more content revolving around that as soon as the script kind of gets in a better spot and we start casting and the ball starts to roll. So very exciting. That's kind of like a little aside from the topics and everything, but we can get right back into it for topic number 3, and that is The Fast and the Furious Part 9. It's incredible. Yeah, Tyson just shared the Discord link in the chat, so if you want to check that out, you can. But yeah. So this trailer came out yesterday, and I watched it, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was pumped up music, lots of car action, crazy like antics and blah, blah, blah. Now, I think there's things to like. This franchise is an anomaly. The lifespan of this franchise is incredible. It started out as like this like kind of niche film about like basically racing cars, just like street racing cars, right? And like they were like back in the day, these guys were like stealing DVDs off of like DVD players off of trucks. And if you remember back, you live back then when DVD players were like a hot thing, like the new thing, and DVDs were new. Like, it's just so funny to see where this franchise has gone. And it just seems to get crazier and crazier and crazier. Now, when it comes to the trailer specifically, which is what I wanted to talk about today, we got a 3-minute and something trailer, right? That's a long trailer. That trailer is too long. All right. I watched it and it was like from beginning to end, it shows you the whole movie. I guarantee you 100 and 1,000, 5,000, 1,000%, like 1,000,000%, that it showed you the entire film from start to finish. And I got about like a minute through it, and I paused it and I said, how much longer of this trailer do we have? And there was like another 2 minutes left that I hadn't watched. And that's when I was like, ooh, this is bad. Like, this isn't a good trailer, because they're literally, and you can just tell, they're showing you all the action. They're showing you all the best jokes. And it was kind of depressing. Like, it was kind of sad. And seemed like, and I always try to, when you watch things, when you watch media, you should always be thinking about who made it, right? Like, who made the content that you're watching, and what is the message that they're trying to get to you? Because again, this is a piece of marketing material, right? So they're trying to sell you on coming to see this movie. Okay, for sure. And I'm sure for some people it worked. And I'm not saying that the movies, these movies are enjoyable. I'll be honest. I probably wouldn't go to the theater to see these anymore. I know back when Paul Walker was still alive, I enjoyed seeing him. I thought he was probably the best part of those movies, and had the most chemistry, and just like, he was a movie star, right? Like, I don't know, say what you will, but I don't know. I thought he was what attracted me to those movies. And ever since he left, I was just kind of like, so like the lifeblood is kind of sucked out of those movies for me. Like, I don't feel it anymore. And they try to be all like, I guess, have Vin come in, and they're like, family, 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 family. And like, that's their big thing. Like, we're a family, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't feel it anymore. I know they're doing one more. So they're going up to 10, and then they're saying that they're going to stop. I don't know if I believe them, though. Don't believe them, guys. Because if this movie makes $1 billion, I can guarantee you they're going to either reboot it, they're going to bring back The Rock for another Rock and Jason Statham movie and call it Fast and the Furious, or they're going to reboot it or something. I guarantee you, if this makes a bunch of money, which it probably will, this franchise is not going to go anywhere. Because again, and we've talked about this on the channel before, studios need these big franchises in order to survive. And studios don't make movies for people. This is kind of maybe a cynical way to look at it, but studios make movies to make money. Like, just like any other, studios are a business, right? That's why it's called the entertainment business. It's the filmmaking business, the entertainment industry, the entertainment, the business of you have classes that are called business of entertainment. It's because it's a business first. It's always, 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 no matter how you slice it, it's business first. And in some ways it should be, because you need to pay attention to, when you're making anything, you need, like, for instance, this show, right? I make this show for people who love movies and people who want to learn more about movies, how movies, all of my content that I make, it's people who want to learn about how movies are made, a little bit more about, behind the scenes and how things are made at the top level, right? So in the industry, and how the money works and where the money goes and all sorts of stuff. But then also too at the more practical level. So eventually, what I'm saying, I haven't really, we'll do this, but like, how do cameras work, and how, especially with my thesis film, it's how am I translating my idea on the page, and how am I translating that onto the screen? And you guys will be able to see my process. And like, that's what I'm doing. I'm making content specifically for those people. I'm not here talking about sports. I'm not here talking about, Apple products or whatever, or how to build your own PC. Like, that's not what I'm here talking about. So, but the same, I mean, it goes everywhere. I mean, we that's how it's always been. So same thing with the Fast and the Furious franchise. Now they know who their target audience is, right? They know that they're going to get the car guys, and they're going to get the, like the car scene and the tough guys or whatever. And it's basically embodied in Vin Diesel here. Like this, he is the living, breathing, walking, talking marketing machine of their demographic. And so they're going to put him front and center. Now, that's not a bad thing. And I think these films can be quite enjoyable. But it boggled my mind when we go back to, so we're going to go back to the trailer. It boggled my mind that this trailer was so damn long. Boggled my mind because why? Why do they need to show you everything? Fast and the Furious is one of the most lucrative film franchises out there. They make tons of money every time they release a movie. Everybody knows what this is. And they released a trailer like a year ago. So people know that this movie's coming out. Now, it's okay to definitely drop a trailer and definitely remind people, for sure. But why does it have to be so long? Like, you can, like, whose idea was that? Like, I just think it was a fumble. I think it was a fumble. For me personally, I was like, oh, well, I just watched, like, I got done with the trailer and I was like, I've seen that entire movie. I've seen every great part of that movie I've seen. And so I think in terms of a trailer, I think it failed because it didn't get me excited. It didn't show me anything new. The story kind of doesn't make sense to me because, so I guess, like, not to spoil anything, but so spoiler warning, I guess. But so his brother comes in, right? And his brother's like, whoa, it's played by John Cena. And so his brother's like, whoa, Dom, I've had to live in your shadow my entire life, blah, blah, blah. Well, now you're going to live in mine. And so, like, he's the bad guy now, I guess. But that line didn't make any sense to me because I'm like, well, wait a minute. What shadow has John Cena been living in? Now, John Cena, and this is what I don't understand. It's weird. Like, all these movies, like, and John Cena's an attractive dude. Like, he's not a bad-looking guy. So it's like, I have a hard time believing that you had to live in anyone's shadow. You like, yeah, you didn't have to live in anyone's shadow. That's another thing. But, like, and we met Vin Diesel in the first one. He was just like a regular mechanic, like a regular dude who was, like, working on cars and then, like, stealing DVD players. So what are you talking about? Like, so that doesn't make any sense to me. And the fact that another reason why it doesn't make any sense is the whole franchise was built on family, right? They've been like family this, family that. Like, we are family. Our whole franchise is based on family. Well, where was Dom's brother? Like, he had that one dude, I forget that one guy's name, but the one dude that was in the first one who got injured, and I think he died. Spoilers, sorry if you haven't seen if you haven't seen these movies, I'm sorry. But he was, I think that was, they weren't blood brothers, but they were, that guy and Vin were, like, super close. And I really love that first movie. I know a lot of people, like, poo-poo on those earlier movies, but the second one was kind of goofy. But I thought that first one was awesome. Like, I think the characters mesh really well, and I think the chemistry of those characters are really well. Like I said, Paul Walker, I thought it was interesting, and it was a fun time. But either way, I just don't understand what's going on in the movie, and it just it blows my mind, and I don't know why. I don't know why the trailer was so long. I don't get it. You literally don't have to make your trailer that long because everybody knows this franchise at this point, And another thing, going back to the John Cena thing, that really kind of bugs me about movies nowadays is everybody has to be like model. Like, everyone has to look so pretty. and it makes me like, I remember watching movies when I was a kid, and like you just have like normal looking people, right? You would just have normal looking people, and there'd be people that like weren't as attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd have people that weren't the most beautiful people on the face of the planet being in these movies, and now it's like every single movie has these beautiful, beautiful people, and it kind of almost stops feeling real for me. And I wish, and again, you have to, you have to grow up, I guess, around the time that I grew up in to understand that, I guess. But even everybody in the Marvel movies, I mean, everybody in the Marvel movies is like beautiful. They're all beautiful looking people. And so I don't know. It's just something that kind of irks me. And I'm like, when can we, like, are we going to ever get back to like the gritty, the gritty movie? Like, can we make things like dirtier, like, but for real? Like, not, I don't know. I want to see more real people instead of like ideas of people injected into not so fleshed out. And can we have characters that actually like go through problems and aren't, I don't know. Things have changed, and it would be nice to get back to the way things were. But anyways, I'm going to hit up the comments really quick, and then, yeah. So, but that's my thought on the trailer. Oh boy, what do we got here? Tyson says, this is a problem with a lot of trailers. They reveal way too much in the trailer. Filmmakers need to reveal enough to pique your interest, but don't put so much in the trailer. Yeah, I really think that comes down to, well, because like the marketing department usually is in charge of making the trailer. Usually it's not the director, right? So it's the marketing department. And the marketing department, it's funny how this stuff works, but like people in the marketing department, they're not filmmakers. So they're just trying to sell a product. They went to business school and they studied marketing. You know what I'm saying? They didn't study film, so they don't know how to tell a story properly. Not all of them. I'm not speaking for all of them, but I'm just saying, like, this is what I'm saying. And this is a perfect example of people who made something to sell something and not to protect the story, right? You always want to, whenever you're trying to execute a film, write a film, shoot a film, you always want to protect your story in terms of you want to stay true to your story and you want to make it engaging and worth it for your audience, right? And I watched this trailer and I'm like, not excited. Like, nope, sorry, pass. Alicia says, I'm really surprised. Sorry. Alicia says, I'm really surprised these films have lasted as long as they have. When the first one came out, my friends and I were very much into street racing. We went to races every weekend. Yeah, no, and it's interesting because they completely diverted from that, right? And they became this like basically this action franchise. And I mean, good on them. On a business sense, like good, because if they would have stuck with street racing, they wouldn't have been as successful. So good on them. I just wish that it just seemed, especially for like the last four movies or so, it's been the same story over and over and over and over again. So I don't know. Alicia said that she's curious if that's still a thing, but I don't know what she means by that. Alicia says, I'm curious if people are still into street racing and these films. Well, you know what? I think it alienated the street racing scene and like the people in the street racing culture. I think this franchise alienated those people because they pulled away from that. And I will admit, the cars have gotten way lamer. Like the cars back then were so much cooler than they are now. I don't know. I'm not a big car guy, but I'm just kind of like, these aren't exciting. But also the style of everything changes, right? And the culture changes and everything. But I don't know, like the neon vibes and the neon lights and everything in those first movies. Maybe it's nostalgia, because I grew up in that period too. But like, I don't know. I thought it was super cool. Yeah, we're just now meeting his brother. It's just so goofy, and you can tell that like these people are just grasping at straws, and they're just like, "Oh, let's bring in his brother," and like, I don't know. Who knows? It could be interesting. This could make. Who knows? This film could be written very, very well. His brother coming in could definitely have a unique and a good effect on the franchise. I have no idea, but I do think maybe too. This is how I think it's gonna go. I think they're gonna bring in John Cena, and then he's gonna turn to be a good guy, and then it's gonna be Vin and John Cena. John Cena may even take up the franchise after the next one. So if Vin leaves and just stays on as a producer, then I wonder if John Cena is going to take over the franchise. I wonder. Tyson says he thinks he said trailer too many times. You can never say trailer too many times. I am the king of repeating things over and over and over again. Just so you know. So if you got me beat, I'll be impressed. Alicia says, I guess it's not super focused on street racing anymore. I wouldn't know. I'm old. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was the last Fast and the Furious movie that you saw, Alicia? But yeah. That is about that. We're at 151. That's pretty much my show. I don't have anything else to share. Let me check and see what we're at in terms of likes. We're up to 9 likes. That's awesome. 7 concurrent viewers. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this this commentary. You know, we didn't really go into as in depth in Batman as I would have liked. We probably will continue that topic on the Pop Culture Cave tomorrow. That happens around 1 o'clock as well tomorrow, so Friday. But yeah, so we'll probably talk. I definitely want to bring that up on tomorrow's podcast as well. So we will dive a little deeper, and it helps when you have someone else to bounce your ideas off of. So when Zach and I are on, it helps. This is more of me just kind of like talking, which is cool, and I can talk. I don't have a problem talking, but you know. Okay, so Alicia says that she saw the first one and the second one, I think. Oh, sweet. Well, Tyson says we got 10 likes. That's awesome. That's incredible, guys. I so much appreciate it. You know, this is a newer show, and we are just kind of getting started, but I'm really hoping that, you know, we can grow the community together. And my favorite thing is when movies start to come out and we are able to anticipate films, right? So like the Batman, eventually the Batman will come out and but we will have had many discussions on the Batman. And when new trailers drop, we can speculate and kind of pick it apart and do all sorts of stuff. So we can kind of build that hype. Also with Spider-Man, we're super big Spider-Man fans here on the channel. So when that trailer drops, it's going to be great. And I'm also very, very excited to start to share with you the thesis film that I'm working on. Zach is also a part of it. He's a producer on it and a co-writer. And I'm just very excited to show you guys that process. And also, too, we have some really, really cool things in the pipeline that we will be doing on this channel specifically. I cannot reveal what they are yet, but it's awesome. It's awesome. So, yeah, I'm excited. Every day. We went to Taco Bell. Shout out to Taco Bell. We like Taco Bell. We went to Taco Bell and we sat there for like, I don't know, 2 hours or so. And we just started to talk about like how we're going to launch this new project that we're talking about doing. We've been talking about it for like probably a year now. But yeah, it was like just about a year because it came up on my Facebook memories. But yeah, we were just talking about how we're going to launch it and how we're going to try to go from the thesis straight into launching this exciting new project. So, sorry. But yeah, man, I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much for being here. Any final comments or questions you got for me? Let me know in the chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. I'll give you guys a few minutes to say any of your last thoughts. Again, tell me what you think of Batman, and tell me what you think. Are you excited for Batman? And yeah, are you excited for Batman? Are you excited for Mortal Kombat? Let me know what you got. Like, I want to know. Tyson says that the show is a blast. Thank you so much. Hey man, I appreciate you guys being here to view the content. You know, one thing, kind of like the rule of thumb, especially with Zach and what he does, but the rule is you should always, like if you're making content for YouTube specifically or whatever, but you should always make content that you love, right? You should always, like, because that's going to make it interesting, right? Why would you want to make content about stuff you don't like? And so there is things. And you know, I have thoughts always on stuff. And I hope that I hope that people can learn new things. You know what I'm saying? If someone can come to click on these videos and watch them and learn something new, then like my job is done, you know? And we want to give you the best production that we possibly can. We've invested in mics. We've invested in backgrounds, you know, showing our skills in terms of, you know, like this background was made, all the graphics were made by me, all the backgrounds and stuff were made by me, blah, 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 blah. We collaborate on the thumbnails, but yeah. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a fun time, and I'm excited. I want to get more guests on. There are people that I really respect and really have some industry experience that I really want to tap into and bring them on. So it's going to be a fun time. I'm super excited. And it's finally like, it's, you know, it's about to be summer. Like we're about to film our thesis. Like I'm super excited. Super excited. Oh no, man. Tyson, you know, and I know you talked about, I think, was that on the Pop Culture Cave where you said that we should all get on a voice call at some point, or like a Zoom. Well, it depends if some people don't want to get on a Zoom, or, you know, they don't want their face to be seen. I totally understand that. But I loved your idea of doing like a voice chat or a voice call with everyone. I think that'd be awesome. I'm going to talk to Zach and maybe we can set that up here in like the next week or two. That'd be really cool. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one it was, but you said that and I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. So, but yeah, no, I think, yeah, with that, it's almost 2:00, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. Let me go back here and do this. Boom. All right. So with that being said, thank you so much. Oh, before I go, you guys, we have activated the join feature on this channel, so you can hit that join button. We should spam it not spam it. Spam it is not a good word, but we should actually make Stream Elements put it in the chat for people. But you can join this channel, and you basically can support us and support the shows that we do and we create, and it helps us, again, create more content. And when you start to see more of the original content that we have planned for the channel, so it's not just shows. Like, yes, we love our shows that we do, but we're also talking about doing more films and more television series, and we're developing more in the background. So you can definitely support the stream, and you can support it for any reason that you want. But hit that join button. It gives a monthly fee, but you can pay, you know, as little as $5, which is literally like a cup of coffee a month. So it's nothing big, and it really just helps support the channel and allows us to keep creating this content for you. We're gonna create it regardless because we love doing it. It's, you know, but it will help along the road when we start to develop our own shows and the stuff we have planned. Like this money, the money that the channel makes goes directly back into the channel. So yeah, that's very exciting. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a terrific day, and come back tomorrow and see Zach and I on the Pop Culture Cave around 1 o'clock. So around the same time this was. Come back, hang out with us again. If you can't hang out with us again, just come drop a like and go about your day. That's cool too. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm excited to see what's going to come down the pipeline in the future, and I'm excited to review Mortal Kombat. I mean, I'm excited to see these things come out, and yeah. So again, thank you so much, and I will see you. I will see you in the next one. Bye.